box. I'll start down here.
This is a story Noelle and I shot on a video store closing. In this video, we're going to be focusing on sequencing, the use of multiple mics, and also how to gather natural moments. We started this story at 6 p.m. It aired at 10. The first thing we did was start to shoot B-roll. To me, that means creating sequences that can drive the story. When we got there, people were packing boxes. That's a lot of repetitive motion and can be easily anticipated. I mic'd up Heather, knowing she will be one of our characters. We've also mic'd up the owner, who Noelle is buttering up since he's hesitant about doing an interview. We'll get to him later. But here I basically go back and forth from the shelves to the boxes, letting her move her hands in and out of the frame, doing my best to edit in my head. Once I set my shot, I make sure I get 2 of each movement. There's 1. There's 2. At this point, I decide to move a little closer, this time starting with a wide shot. Once I set my shot, I remember to hold it for the same 2 movements. There's the first one. This is going to be very helpful when trying to sequence. It gives you more options to choose from. There's the second. The next thing I do is go off the shoulder, waiting for the same 2 movements, making sure to be patient. Then Heather starts talking.
There's an art to this, you know.
What is that?
Well, you got to make sure that it's the right movie with the right box.
This gives us something colorful that we can use, something very natural and in the moment. Once she finishes talking, I continue my sequence, making sure to stay wide. 1, 2 movements. Now to a medium shot. Once again, 2 movements. Then I realize she's about to close the box. This is going to be my ending shot. At this point, I go back on the sticks. Now I'm looking for a couple of tight shots and this wide shot to help me with the sequence with Heather. Again, each time counting the same 2 movements. Also, don't forget extreme tight shots. They're very important when it comes to shot variety and helping yourself build a sequence in the edit bay. Now that I feel like I have enough for my sequence, I step back and get a couple of cleanup shots and the widest possible shot that I can get. Super wides are also important when shooting in one room. It helps the story feel less claustrophobic.
See, this is coming with me. This is coming with me.
Then we find this guy. This entire moment happens naturally. So Noelle throws a question at him.
You grew up here.
I did.
Anticipating a soundbite, I pull wide and set my shot.
Yes, I don't remember a time when.
When he first ducked out of the frame, I initially panicked a little bit, wondering how am I going to edit this. Then he pops back up and finished his statement.
I didn't have the key to the cookie jar.
We got lucky here, but it worked out. This is another natural, colorful moment. It adds a little relatable personality to the story.
Yes, I don't remember a time when. I didn't have the key to the cookie jar.
I pick up a few extra shots to help me create a sequence with him. Our next thing is to set up an interview with Heather. But just beforehand, I realized the owner, Sam, walked into the back room. So I set up a long shot to try to catch him coming out. I rolled on this for about 2 minutes while setting up a location for Heather's interview. Thankfully, it pays off. Here's our interview with Heather. It's nothing special. I think we use 1 piece of sound from this. Here's Sam's interview. I almost wish that I brought a light in for it, but my main focus was to try to create some depth. I just spent the last 30 minutes listening to him and Noelle talking. He was mic'd while I was shooting, which allowed me to listen to their conversation and possibly catch some natural moments of him in case he didn't do an interview. He got pretty emotional early on and was worried about getting emotional on camera. But Noelle is like a therapist. She knows how to get people to open up. So 30 minutes with Noelle, they talked about movies the entire time and she gained his trust, which led to a few natural emotional moments during our interview.
When Heather would interview a new person, she would say, well, really, all you need to do is love people and love movies. It's tough.
Here's another moment where I decided to stay with the shot instead of following his movement. It worked out good for his next emotional soundbite that I kept wide, knowing that I might cut or dissolve from one to the other. This is where Noelle's long talk comes into play. He had just spent 30 minutes talking about the thing he loves the most, movies. And now he's tying that into the love he has for his customers. He took some time to gather his thoughts. We stayed patient.
You know, movies are movies. People are special.
Heather chimes in to help him out a little.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, all of this has brought up.
She's still mic'd up, so I swing over to get the shot. Here's another emotional, natural moment.
We were a part of so many people's lives. We saw their kids grow up. We saw them get married. Saw them have babies. We held their hand when their spouse passed away.
One of the last things we did was shoot our opening sequence. This was an idea Noelle thought of while we drove to the story. As we were shooting this, someone drops off videos in the return bin, so I shoot a quick sequence of them checking in the movies. A few last cutaways of movies, empty shelves and boxes, and an exterior shot.